Students, we are still discussing the yes/no questions. If you note, sometimes when we change or transform a sentence from the positive to negative, or to make it a question, a yes/no question. For example, when you have someone, something, somebody, and all the assertive form, if you find them in a sentence and you want to transform the sentence to yes/no question, keep in mind you should change these these items. What does it mean, positive orientation? Another typical characteristic of yes/no question is the use of non-assertive forms. We all agree that questions are what? Non-assertions. Questions are just like what? Negations. All the questions are what? Non-assertion. Now we have already seen in operation in negative statements. Listen, someone called last night. This is simple sentence, okay? When I want to transform this sentence to a yes/no question, طبعا أنا هنا ما عندي operator. I can make use of the do verb since the subject is since the tense is past. I make use of did. Did anyone, you see, transform someone, the assertive to non-assertive. Anyone call last night? Did anyone call last night? I suppose some of the class will be already here. Here I have what? Two assertive forms. عندي some وعندي already. Do you suppose any, you see, some صارت شنو? Any of the class will be here yet. Yeah, or already transformed to be what? To be yet. هنا ما عندي مشكلة. Listen. طبعا I'm very sorry to use my phone because there is something wrong with the program of recording in my laptop. Like the use of the do auxiliary, non-assertive forms. طبعا like the use of the do auxiliary, non-assertive forms point to common ground between questions and negative statement. Please try to think of this sentence or this piece of information. What is the similarities? What are the similarities between a question and negative statements? And بالنسبة إلي لما أسمع what is the similarity between a question, any kind of a question, ما عندي yes no question ولا question and negation, أقدر أقول both of them are what? Non-assertion. Both of them are non-assertion. This ground is not hard to explain clearly. What is it? طبعا نحكي. Clearly a question has neutral polarity. In this sense, what is meant by neutral polarity? Neutral polarity يعني يخلي the ground open, whether it is yes or no. Challenge the validity of the sentence itself, the whole sentence. In the sense that it leaves open whether the answer is positive or negative. Hence, questions, شبيه questions, like negatives, belong to the class of non-assertion. This is the main similarity between question and negation. On the other hand, a question may be presented in a form which is biased towards a positive or negative answer. Positive or negative answer. وياي؟ لكن a question has positive orientation. For example, if it uses assertive forms rather than the usual non-assertive forms. Listen, did someone call last night. تقول الست احنا قبل شوي قلتي نحول كل الاسsertive to non-assertive من احول لquestion. What about this someone? The form is a question لكن أنا عندي someone. This means that what? Just to confirm you, just to assure that is it true that someone called last night? إنه هذه something I am sure, I'm certain that someone called last night. Has the poet left already? Not yet. تشوفون? Here I am sure, I confirm you, I assure that the poet has left. Again the same with do you live somewhere near Dover وهكذا. This question indicate يشوفون that the speaker thinks that the answer is yes. Since I have a certain form يعني أنا المفروض ما أفكر بأي answer, just only what's yes. Yes. He merely asks for confirmation of that assumption. So keep in mind, if you have a set of form in yes no question, so just to confirm that I know the answer is yes. I know the answer is yes. In contrast to negative orientation. Negative orientation in the sense that I do not have assertive form. لا أنا عندي non-assertive. Negative in the sense that I have non-assertive form in the sentence. Negative orientation is found in questions contains a negative form of one kind or another. One kind ربما تجيني بالnot particle بالnegation itself. ربما تجيني بالnegative words like for example yet, like anybody, nobody وهكذا. Look at this example. Can't you give us any hope of success? هسه وين negative form and you can't. Is it really true that you cannot? شوفوا. Second example. Isn't your car working? هنا طبعا there is some sort of mixing of what? Of expressions. Mix of expressions here. يعني هو answer, the usual answer is what? لكن I am disappointed that is actually no. Yeah. Negative orientation is complicated. However, by an element of surprise or disbelief which adds implication of positive meaning. Implication of positive meaning. يعني إنهم يقول له can't you give us any hope of success? يعني I hope, I'm surprised. Okay? يعني when I say نقول له isn't your car working? Is it really that true that your car is not working? I had assumed that it was. There is a combining of a positive and negative attitude, which one may distinguish as the old assumption. The old assumption إنه لا, your car is working, positive. And the new assumption اللي هي negative. لكن I am disappointed or I am annoyed that your car is not working. Because the old assumption tend to be identified with the speaker's hope or wishes. طبعا I hope your car is working. لكن negative oriented questions often express disappointed or annoyed. طبعا علي. Can't you drive straight? هذه negative orientation. ليش؟ أنا عندي not. I have thought you would be able or you would be able. هذه وين positive. هذه old assumption. هذه old assumption. But apparently you cannot. هذا new assumption اللي be what? اللي be annoyed or disappointed. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? you ought to be. هذا what old essential positive meaning, but it appears you are not. هذا اللي new. Hasn't the poet left yet? هذا again, I had or I would hoped. I had hoped it would leave, left by now. هذا old assumption positive, but it seems that it hasn't. اللي هو negative orientation or negative assumption اللي هو new assumption. A second type of negative questions combines not the formal signal of negative orientation with the assertive items which are the formal signal of positive. وياي تشوفون ناس عندي did not عندي not وجدت وياها someone. How's that؟ عندي not وعندي someone وعندي question. What does this mean? Such questions are similar in effect to type 1 اللي هي tag question and to statement showing disbelief. Surely someone had called last night. Surely someone called last night. يعني there is something or what combining whether they are tag question